Hi, my name is Puneet Kataria. I'm the founder of CustomerSuccessBox. Many of you have seen me before as well. But I'm shooting this video to essentially very quickly introduce you to something that we are very excited about. We are announcing the launch of artificial intelligence in CustomerSuccessBox. We are the first and the only platform out there to be using artificial intelligence to essentially be generating recommendations, suggestions for you on your account, so that you can be even more ahead of the game, even more proactive, de-risk more accounts, and drive your MRR, upsells, and growth even further. So that's the idea. Let's quickly talk about what we're launching. With this program, what you're going to see is an artificial intelligence which fundamentally is learned from all your historical churns, those unfortunate churns that we don't want again, has learned from all your retentions, all your renewals in the past, and all your upsells to see what user behavior, what engagement behavior, what efforts of your activities sort of drive these retentions and upsells, so that this learning can then be taken and applied on each and every account that you have. So yeah, AI is going to be looking at each and every account of yours and work with you like a wingman. See, this is not a bot or something where you can ask something, it's going to respond, not that piece. We are talking about a lot more intelligent artificial intelligence, which is essentially working with you as a partner. It is like a wingman to every customer success manager. Think of it as that you're no more working alone. You're actually working along with an AI, which we call Sheldon. So Sheldon's sort of working along with each one of you to be your partner, to tell you what you need to do at each and every account to de-risk them, to improve their probability of retention, and to even unlock a lot of future lifetime value. And it is going to do that all on its own while learning from your past data. So we're not applying learning, which is coming from another account, another instance, nothing like that. It absolutely learns from your data and then applies that learning into generating those recommendations that you're going to see. As you would see that, it is going to be magical. So you don't have to no longer depend on whether you've added that rule, whether you've added that alert, whether you've added that product adoption milestone, or whether your health rules sort of have covered all the aspects or not. Think of Sheldon, which covers the blind side for you. Even if you've missed something, Sheldon's watching, and it is going to make sure that it's going to alert you to take action as the case may be. So with that said, welcome aboard to this early access program where we are launching artificial intelligence. I'm sure you're going to love it. Now, as Sheldon's still young, it's still learning, it's getting better, you will see that Sheldon is very good and very smart in certain things, and you may find on an occasional area that Sheldon's not so smart. It might be making recommendations which might be slightly off. And if that's the case, we want you to help make our AI engine even more smart. And how you can do that? By essentially submitting the feedback. So there is a feedback with each and every recommendation. We expect you as customer success managers, as account managers, to be essentially passing that feedback, whether that recommendation was relevant or if it was not relevant. And if it was not relevant, then what was the reason behind it? That is what is going to help us improve Sheldon and essentially make it a lot more effective so that you can be a lot more effective in driving and delivering customer success for your organization. Awesome. Take care. There will be a small document which will be accompanied along with this. You might see a brief demonstration of the platform of these Sheldon recommendations as well. But feel free, keep the feedback coming in, and we're looking forward to taking this to next level. So there you are. Welcome to the future of customer success today, and it's in your hands. So use it well. All the best. Cheers. So how does Sheldon works? So see, Sheldon's obviously bringing all its learnings from your historical churns and retention while looking at all your effort, all the CSM engagement, all the tasks that CSM does, all the tickets that the customer's been generating, how many of those are open, and of course the big chunk, which is all the user behavior or how they're using and adopting your product. It's going to take all of that learning and then applies that in generating what we call recommendations. So there are two kinds of recommendations that Sheldon's going to come out with, and one kind of sort of an alert for your information, something you should look at. We call it an anomaly detection. Something which is off the chart, and you should look at it. So three things: two kinds of recommendation and anomaly detection. Let's talk about each one of them. Number one, first thing first, Sheldon's going to very deeply analyze your user behavior and its correlation with retention. Now, keep in mind, Sheldon's very smart. Sheldon understands that you cannot go after all 100 features. But Sheldon also knows that while there are features which are strongly correlated to churn or retention, and you should be driving the adoption of those features, while making those recommendations, it keeps in mind that all features are used in groups. That means one feature is going to drive a certain other feature usage along with it. So Sheldon's going to very smartly pick up the right recommendations from different groups and different priorities, and this is based on so many factors that Sheldon learns. So there you go. The first one is going to be driving product adoption, very, very specific recommendations that are going to come your way. Number two, the second kind of recommendations are going to be engagement recommendations. While product adoption is absolutely important and necessary and mandatory, relationships play a key role. And this was absolutely proven in the last year, the pandemic year. When we're talking about engagements, Sheldon is already looking at what sort of engagement has typically led to retention, has typically led to upsells. On the other hand, it is also looking at whenever there is a drop in engagement, when it leads to churn. So based on all of that, it is going to keep an eye on if your engagement of your relationship is dropping on any of those accounts. So Sheldon's going to learn from that. And that's sort of the number two kind of recommendations which are going to come your way, which are going to be engagement recommendations. Now the number three, which is also very, very interesting, Sheldon's constantly looking at all kinds of variables and looking at if there is a sudden change in trend. They were doing a certain activity at a certain pace, and all of a sudden there is a certain jump or a certain drop, and that is where, which can very easily slip under your radar. But Sheldon's watching those for you, and whenever that happens, Sheldon's going to make sure that you are alerted so that you can take a look at it and you can investigate further whether it requires any further action on your behalf or not. So those are the three kinds of recommendations and anomaly detections which are going to come your way. All the best if you've got feedback. So how frequently is Sheldon generating these recommendations? So Sheldon's going to look at data every certain period. This is usually not daily. This is typically weekly, but it can be different for each one of your cases. When I say each one of your cases, for different customers, we can configure it differently as the case may be. But typically, every week you will see a new set of recommendations coming in. Now, what does that mean for the older recommendations? So for most of the times, the older recommendations are no more relevant. And so focus first on the most recent recommendation set, which those older recommendations are also available to you if you want to look at those and sort of compare them to the past. But if an older recommendation is still relevant, you're going to see it pop out again so that you don't miss it. What else? What do you want to do with those recommendations? So for now, I think Sheldon's making very, very specific recommendations. You have to do everything in your capacity to make sure the outcome that this Sheldon's sort of recommending drive a certain product adoption behavior, improve your engagement, improve your effort. All of those pieces, as you're going to drive that, you will absolutely start seeing more and more results on those accounts, positive results, which is de-risking accounts, improving the retention probability. All of those pieces are going to happen, and more potential future lifetime value is going to be unlocked for each and every account as you follow through the recommendations. So what does Sheldon mean for you as a customer success leader? So if you are a vice president of customer success, if you're a director and a head of customer success in your organization, what does that mean for you? See, what does that mean for you is we are actually taking away a lot of weight from your shoulders by relieving you of the responsibility of fine-tuning the rules that you've put into CustomerSuccessBox or any customer success platform for that matter that you might have used in the past or are considering. That responsibility is now away from you, is going straight into CustomerSuccessBox in its AI engine, because it is already learning from your past behavior and applying that learning in the future customer success implementation, in the alerts, in the recommendations, in the suggestions which are generated. So think, if you have to be guiding and coaching each and every customer success manager, I think that will be fantastic. But the problem is you can't do that because you're one and you've got a large team to manage. So how do you make sure that each and every customer success manager is on day one fully aware of what they need to drive on each and every account, what they should be focusing on? It is impossible for you to replicate yourself in all those and sort of be present in every account for each and every customer success manager. That obviously is ruled out. This is exactly what Sheldon comes in and does. Sheldon's gonna be watching each and every account based on the learning that it has from your historical data, and will apply those learning and start to make recommendations for each of your customer success manager. What does that mean? That means you don't have to worry about, have I set up all the rules? Have I missed a rule? Are the thresholds of each rules correct? Have I created enough segments? And am I missing any of that? And all that burden sort of goes away, because no matter how many rules you set up, there will always be a blind side. And that blind side is going to be covered. We are doing all that without taking away the rules that you've set. So all the rules that you've set up in the past, or want to set up, or will set up in the future, they still continue to exist and work exactly as you've left them. We are not touching them. So we're not taking away anything, but we are rather giving you another coverage and a larger protection, a safety net, that even if you miss something, even if there is something in your blind side, that gets covered by Sheldon fully. So there you go. That's the biggest ever thing that we could have offered you as a customer success leader. Now you know you can bring in a brand new customer success manager who might be coming from a different industry, even a different role, might not have even played customer success in his or her previous role, but can still come in and be effective in days rather than weeks or months. That's Customer Success AI Engine Sheldon for you. So in a nutshell, Sheldon is essentially a new team member, a new partner, like a wingman to each one of you. That means as a customer success manager, you're not alone anymore. You've got a partner in Sheldon. So that's our AI engine, which is going to work with you while you're doing your daily chores, while you're busy in all your activities, engaging with the customers and whatnot. Sheldon's watching each and every data point for you so that it can advise you, guide you, suggest you to make the right decisions, to act in the right direction. Which account needs you, why they need you, and not just that, but they're going to tell you also what you should be doing. Yes, all that is going to be based on Sheldon's learning of your own historic data, of your own historic retentions, upsells, and even churns, and trying to take that learning and applying it in the recommendations, in the suggestions that Sheldon's going to be making for you. All the best. We are absolutely thrilled about this launch. We know this is completely going to change the world, the way AI is looked at in the customer success space. Cheers.